Zenless Zone Zero released worldwide on July 4th, 2024, and ever since that day, I have been utterly obsessed. I've played a lot of Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, but Zenless Zone Zero feels special to me. It's a completely unique experience, with a comforting vibe that's especially hard to find in most gacha games these days. Everything from the combat, to the music, to the characters, to the story, I couldn't recommend this game more. And with the release of 2.0, with a brand new area and a new cast of characters, I wanted to make sure that I was properly prepared. And imagine my surprise when I opened my game and realized that there was a part of the game that I had largely been neglecting: side commissions. Both my HDD and Internet were flooded with commissions. Some that had been added along with version 1.7 to my commissions all the way back from launch day. So I figured it would be a good idea to clear some of those out, get some XP materials, maybe some polychromes, and just enjoy my time. But halfway through my third commission, I had a thought. Why am I not exploiting this for content? So then I had an idea. An idea for one of the most daunting challenges I've ever thought of. Yes, I am setting out to complete every single side commission in Zenless Zone Zero, or almost all side commissions. This will no doubt be a long challenge, so let's set some rules before we start. Number 1, if there's a side commission in both my HDD and Internet account, I have to complete it. By the end of this challenge, I hope to see not a single blue commission or unfinished mission in my Internet and HDD. Number 2, I will be counting the side commissions in my HDD and Internet separately. Even if there are some that are technically a part of the same commission, you do get 2 separate rewards and 2 different complete screens, so it just made sense to count them as separate. Number 3, I'm sure that there are plenty of side commissions that are probably locked behind agent stories or are just extremely well hidden. I'm gonna try my best to avoid these types of scenarios because the challenge isn't about necessarily torturing myself, and believe me, this challenge was hard enough on its own. So I will not count these towards my goal. The challenge isn't about perfection, it's about getting the job done. I will also be completing all of Officer Mew Mew's missions as well. I figured if I'm going to complete all these commissions, I might as well 100% his missions too. It probably won't be too tough, right? I also deliberated on if I should count hard mode towards my final goal, but ultimately decided that if it doesn't grant me the observation data or grand rewards, it's not necessary. And finally, I do want to try to get all of these done before version 2.0. A last hurrah to season 1, if you will. A little added excitement to an already stress-inducing task. Well, I think that covers just about everything, so without further ado, let's get some commissions done. So, the first thing that I wanted to do was go around and unlock every quest that was readily available. This will help me organize everything later on for ease of access. I'm sure that some of these commissions will have multiple sections to them, but I figured we'll cross that bridge once we get there. Talk to some people, talk to some kids, talk to a bang boo trying to recruit a cat to join PubSec, and hey, I actually finished my first commission. That was pretty fast. I went around collecting a few more commissions and accidentally stumbled into Ray doing her thing for Lost Void, and well, look what the cat dragged in. You get it? Because Fufu's a tiger, and a tiger is just a big cat. Okay, fine, I'll stop. After a quick talk with Fufu, my second commission was done, and only a few minutes into the challenge too. This might actually be a lot easier than I thought. Kid talking to a cactus, car bros, a fishing boy, and damn it, Lycon, can't you see I'm busy? I don't have any time to talk to you. Moving on this way, moving on. Wait, are those 2 older guys harassing Corinne? Oh my god, dude, what the heck? This is not okay. What are you doing? Go away, leave her the heck alone, bro. What is this? I then talked to Pulchra in the video store because it looked like a commission, but I didn't really get any rewards, so does this count? I honestly have no idea. Now, obviously this was still just the beginning of the challenge, so I did have some concerns that maybe this wasn't going to be possible, but I like to think that I got a sign from the universe, or the game rather, when I ran into Soldier 11 and she said this to me.
People who play video games for long periods of time don't seem to have high levels of concentration or endurance.
Soldier 11, you clearly have no idea what kind of challenge this is, do you? But I seem to interpret this as I needed to do this. I needed to prove Soldier 11 wrong. I'm not impatient. I can do this. Believe me, some parts of this challenge I'm going to need a lot of patience. I ran around some more, waited for my internet connection to stop glitching, Seth interrupted me, I took a break to pet a cat, and then I couldn't really find any more quests in the overworld, so I went to the HDD and began my descent into madness. I'm sorry, I mean my foray into fun! I decided to start by going chapter by chapter. In my mind, this would keep everything organized and I could complete one section and then just move on to the next one. This did not end up working out, I would later realize, but we'll get to that when it happens. 2 commissions done, and we're making progress. I take a brief intermission to chat with Lucy, and then it's, oh my god, Astra! It's Astra! Yeah, oh my god, she's in the store, guys. Do you see Astra? She's wonderful, and I love you, I love you. Anyway, back to the commissions. It was finally time to take on some exploration commissions, which meant going back to a sort of sensitive topic within the ZZZ community, TV mode. Personally, I really love TV mode. In canon, at least in the beginning, the proxies couldn't really fight. They were skilled hackers, in a way. So TV mode really played into that whole vibe. And it really was such a unique and different style of gameplay. There were no crazy battles or intense exploration. It really felt like ZZZ was going for something different. And I gotta say, I respect them so much for it. It makes me a bit sad that once I'm done with these exploration quests from the earlier chapters, I won't really get a chance to experience them again. I mean, there were even some voice lines from characters that I've never even heard before because they only appear in TV mode.
You could buy some melon-flavored candies.
Feels like a waste to have such an interesting style of gameplay be completely scrapped, but hey, maybe one day it'll come back. So for now, I'll give it a proper send-off. Thank you, TV mode, for giving us some great memories. With commission number 8 done, it was time to move on to some more combat. One thing I really wanted to do on top of finishing all these commissions was that if there was a commission that suggested a certain elemental type, I would use them. This was so that I could get as close as possible to using characters that were released around the time that commission was made available. And it really was fun to run certain agents I hadn't in a while. Please, Jane Doe, come back to us in the story. I miss you so much. I miss you so much. Your story was so much fun and I really loved you and I loved you doing things in the story. It was really wonderful, please. After combat, it was once again time for more exploration. It was at this point that I started to realize my flaw in trying to go chapter by chapter. Some of the exploration quests were too long. Sure, they were fun, but I was on a time crunch. I needed to see if I could get this done before version 2.0. And with quests like the Bang Boo Pokemon Challenge or this incredibly complicated puzzle that I am not kidding took me 15 minutes to complete, I knew that eventually I would have to come up with a different solution. But either way, I made my way through the rest of these commissions and then decided to take a break to check up on Officer Mew Mew, maybe grab some HIA coins, save a Bang Boo, get a general feel of what I'm dealing with. It really couldn't be too bad to finish up his quests. What I didn't know at the time was that this f***ing cat would be the bane of my existence for at least 5 hours of this challenge, Officer Mew Mew. I swear I will see you in hell. Anyway, more combat commissions. I then noticed that I only had an A rank on one of my commissions, which I guess I should address now. Even though I do go back and grab the S rank on some of these quests, I ultimately decided that just finishing the commission is enough. I know, S rank is ideal, but if I just so happen to only get an A rank on some commissions, it's not that big of a deal. Now, for whatever reason, and I genuinely cannot remember why I did this, I stepped away from random play, rhyme, and talked to this random NPC by the telephone. Big mistake, because that quest that she unlocks would single-handedly destroy this whole challenge. But time to finish another commission, grab some HIA coins, and then go help a police officer feel important by figuring out the case of the disappearing soda cases and then 2 bozos debate on which soda is the best and hey, look, another commission done! I finished another commission and then I realized that I had finished all of Officer Mew Mew's first page for 6th Street, our first major accomplishment of this challenge. Let's hopefully keep this momentum up. Astra, it's Astra again! But at that point I was pretty tired, so I signed off for the night with a promise to go even harder the next day. Day 2 starts off with a new plan. Remember that plan about going chapter by chapter? Yeah, throw it out, we don't want that idea anymore. I found that I could get more done if I instead focused all of my efforts on finishing combat commissions per chapter instead, and then move on to exploration after. And it worked! I was breezing through commission after commission like this. It was way more efficient, I could get through content at a much faster pace. After getting through several commissions, I was still debating on whether or not to count certain quests towards my goal, so I attempted to try and get the final observation data from Hugo's 1.6 quest, and yeah, I failed. Even more unfortunate because it took me nearly 25 minutes to get through this. But this was what made me make up my mind on whether or not to complete hard mode or go back through main story quests. And then I came to it. My first roadblock. The Prophecy. Disguised as a simple commission, I went in, not knowing what to expect. This quest then proceeded to take up exactly 30 minutes of my time. Yeah, so I just gave up. We'll come back to this at a later time. I focused on finishing up other quests instead, and then decided to wrap up some city commissions. Now, does this count? It's a Mew Mew side quest that could be considered a commission, but I got nothing from it except unlocking the sage in a barrel, so does it still count? No use worrying, I counted it anyway. The next section was just me running around completing various city commissions, gathering the rewards from commissions that were finished, and taking care of Officer Mew Mew tasks. Honestly, not a whole lot to comment on, although I did run into Grace during one of them. Oh my god, Grace. Always love to see you. It's always fun to see my very first S rank and one of my favorite girlies. And I do have a lot of favorites in this game. But thankfully, this part was fairly easy, just bouncing between each area and finishing up quests. And hey, did you happen to catch that? I just finished up my 50th commission, which marks what I hope is the halfway point for this video. So if you've made it this far, please feel free to like and subscribe. This video was a lot of work to put together, so any kind of support is appreciated. And leave a comment down below as well for any future challenges you'd like to see me try. And now, back to the video. This marks me unlocking the major chunk of the Kami North quest. If any of you have played this story quest, you'll know that it's one of the most involved. And as it turns out, it happened to be one of my favorites in this whole video. The amount of depth and continuity in this one quest was honestly kind of amazing, and it was such a treat to experience it for the first time. The TLDR of it is that this guy Ross? I don't know. Basically, he fuses two Bangbu's consciousness together like some strange Full Metal Alchemist knockoff, and Kami North, the Bangbu we helped to figure all of this out, goes through an existential crisis. Seriously, if you haven't played it, go experience it for yourself. But we don't really have time to finish it right now, as we need to collect some more HIA coins. Oh boy. Thankfully, we don't run around for too long before it's back to the combat. This part was getting easier, just commission after commission. The only one that took me a decent chunk of time was the quest where you fix up the drill, but it was pretty fun, so I'll let it slide. Get pew-pewed, I guess. Then it was commission after commission after commission after commission. You know what? Special prize for whoever can tell me how many times I've said commission in this one video, because I guarantee you it's way up there. When I tell you that this part was literally just me grinding through combat commissions, exploration quests, and the like of them, it really was just that, so better to just skip past most of the trivial stuff and get to the really exciting stuff. Like Soldier 11 making her grand reappearance. Then it was just more of the usual. Strange kid that talks like an NPC, strange guy that almost drowns, or something like that. I don't know, I stopped paying attention at some point and I kinda missed this one. Also, Lighter put the res on us, so hey, love you Pookie. And before I even realized it, I was at my 100th commission. And even better, it was the conclusion of the Venus quest, which overlaps perfectly with the Kami North quest. It was so cool to see the conclusion of such a detailed quest line, and even better to see Belle go absolutely ballistic on some creep that literally kicked Venus. All my homies hate this guy. And even better to see Kami North come full circle and truly embrace the Bangbu they were meant to become, despite all of Rost's nefarious works. Ross? I still, how do you pronounce this guy's name? Rost or Roast? I'm gonna just roast him, never mind. Roasting Ross, that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I know technically according to the rules, this would count as two separate quests because I got two sets of rewards. But just let me have this, okay? It's more meaningful if it's my 100th quest. Which means now the 100 commission part of the challenge is done. And hey, it only took me 8 hours and 23 minutes. Not bad. So why do I still have 5 hours of footage left? Well, as I said before, I wasn't only trying to do over 100 commissions, I was trying to finish up every commission that I could do before Season 2. This also includes our fine furry friend, Officer Mew Mew. So once again, I ran around unlocking the final quest that I could get my hands on, as well as finishing up any lingering Mew Mew quests. Another really amazing quest that I stumbled upon was one where I helped a grandfather come to terms that his kids literally became the corrupted ballet twins. And then I helped him find the last message they ever left for him before they got corrupted. It was genuinely heartbreaking to play this one.
Props to the writers for sneaking another amazing story into a side commission. But now it's time to address the roadblock. And I'm not just talking about the prophecy, no, this was worse. This was the one thing that made this challenge completely impossible. So let me explain. There are some certain quests that have requirements to unlock them. Sometimes you have to finish a completely different quest in order to get a specific NPC to spawn in so that you can actually get the commission. And Officer Mew Mew largely works the same way. Certain NPCs that carry HIA coins can only spawn once you get one of the other NPC's HIA coins. Sometimes even you would have to complete an event quest like the ones at Cheesetopia or the fishing event for them to appear. But here's the thing, some NPCs can only spawn in at a certain point on the map, and NPCs tied to time-gated events can actually take up the spots for a certain amount of time. I even looked this up, and Shajal, who carries an HIA coin outside the cafe, was unavailable during the 141 store event. So you literally had to wait until the event was done in order to get her coin. And that's exactly what happened here. See this girl Clara? Well, she's supposed to spawn in near Enzo's shop. But due to the photography movie event happening at 1.7, there was another girl just hanging out there. And she wasn't leaving. I couldn't believe it. This was impossible to get around. Clara can't spawn anywhere else, and I can't get the other coins until I get hers first. This was devastating. I had nothing else to do but try to finish up the HIA coins in Blazewood, but once again, another roadblock. The guys that would give me some coins wouldn't spawn in. I was stressing at this point. What was I doing wrong? Was this challenge really not possible? Do I even have the time to finish it? So I gave up. It wasn't possible. I had to get to a stream that night, I had to leave early the next morning. There was no way that I could finish this challenge. All I had to do at that point was just wrap up my recording and move on. No, I'm just messing with you. I managed to find a solution. Turns out, all I needed to do was wait until the daily reset. At the time, I was recording this Wednesday night, the day before 2.0 dropped, and all I needed to do was wait until 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and poof! No more version-specific events. Clara spawned in, I got her coin, gathered up the rest of the coins on 6th Street, and I was done. All that was left was Blazewood. Wait, why are they still not spawning in? I did everything right and they still won't spawn in. Why? I'm so confused. They should be in this exact spot. I looked up a guide and I literally know that this is where they're supposed to spawn in. I didn't unlock the Sage in the Barrel in Blazewood. It was literally that simple. After I did that, everybody spawned where they were supposed to and I got my final coins. Yeah, that one was on me. And just like that, with one final Mew Mew achievement, I had done it. I was finished. There were no more quests that I needed to unlock. There were no more Mew Mew achievements. I was done. I had completed every single available side commission in Zenless Zone Zero, tallying up to 112 in total. Although, while editing, I did forget that there were 2 quests that technically counted towards my final goal. So in accordance with the rules, I completed 114. Now, I know for a fact that there were quests I could not find, but like I said, this challenge was about getting things done and clearing out the HDD and Inner Knot of Blue commissions. And by the end of this challenge, it was really satisfying to look at my completely empty log. Let's just ignore that one for now, why don't we? Going through this challenge was super fun for me though. Brought back a lot of good memories of the early days of playing Zenless. The excitement of learning about a new universe, getting attached to a new cast of characters. Playing through these quests reminded me of just how much effort the devs put into this game. Sure, it's not perfect and the game can still make many improvements in the future, but to me and many others, Zenless Zone Zero is special. And I'm super excited to get immersed into a brand new story and see what Season 2 has in store for all future updates. And like I said, I know that this challenge wasn't perfect in its own right, but I like to think that I set out for a certain goal and I managed to finish that. So for now, I think I'm gonna take a break, get some sleep, and catch you all in Wi-Fi Peninsula. Well, here we are, Wi-Fi Peninsula. Say hi, Fufu! Well, we got Yixuan, did the new story, so I guess it's time to see what else is new in this update. Wait, what's that? Is that a Venus quest? And it's not new? Wait, did I just have to reset my clock to the next day to get a part 2 to one of her quests? Oh, son of a bitch!